a
Big fan.
little game called Metroid Dread came
And it's
out.
off the fucking chain.
And I think Bradley said it best. Roll credits. This game is
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
This is what I needed to become a Metroid fan. Like, this game has made me interested in the franchise. It is that good.
Oh. Gets my balls hot.
It's a game.
Oh, what do you mean it's a game? Oh, come on. Boo!
The game is really good. The game is good.
But,
This game is not worth $60.
oh, okay. Let's fucking go there. Mister, I'll spend whatever money to get a fucking waifu in Genshin, but I won't spend the money for, like, quality, well-ass design. You're a game designer. You should be, like, frothing at the mouth of some of the great stuff they did.
The game has a range of 7 to 10 hours.
No, it does not. The in-game timer. The in-game timer lies to you. If you timed yourself, it took you more than that. Now, granted,
I feel like people are tripping with game prices. I think people need. Man, I'm gonna make some enemies. I think people need to get used to paying more for video games.
Video games are too cheap for what they cost.
This is not me speaking like across the board. This is my own opinion. I think it's not worth $60 for me. And Nintendo never decreases their prices for their games.
Oh, never.
And I'm just not happy that I paid $60 for a 7-hour long experience.
It took you longer than that, okay? So you can't say it's a 7-hour long experience. It's short, for sure. But, like, would you not say that it was all quality? That game is so good.
It is all quality except for my other big complaint. This game is easy.
No, it is not.
This game is pretty easy for a Metroid game.
Okay, maybe for a Metroid game.
You know what? That's the qualifier there. For a Metroid game, it is easy, but I wouldn't call it like a super easy game in general.
No. You have to be able to play video games to play this game.
This game's difficulty is perfect. It challenges you just the right amount.
I agree.
Like a boomer's never going to beat Kraid.
Well,
no. But this, for example, I think in terms of a Metroidvania game, that genre, this is the easiest Metroid game ever.
Okay, wait, Metroid or Metroidvania?
Okay, if we're talking about the genre Metroidvania and what that genre entails is terms of game mechanics and what classifies like that, which is a lot of being blocked by something, having discovery, and then using your memory as a player to go back and like break that barrier. This is the easiest Metroid game in existence.
You wanted to get lost. You wanted there to be bad map design. Got it.
No. There is there's one map design. It is a single tunnel, and I follow this the entire time. Like,
it's not.
I never got lost.
I got lost several times because when you get certain power-ups... To be fair, I didn't know about the highlighting a icon feature where you can go to an icon and find every other icon in the map that's like it. That would have helped.
I got lost one time in this game, and it was because I put the game down. Like, I just didn't remember what I was doing when I came back.
Man, I've gone on record saying the map design in this game makes me want to jack off. I think it's good, and here's the thing. As much as I love the older Metroid games, the one thing I could never defend about them, and one of the games most guilty of this is Super Metroid, maybe even more so than the NES Metroid, is having to go back to some area you were in like 5 hours ago and shoot like a single unmarked block to progress the story. Jeez. I am glad they got rid of that. I don't want to do that.
I just don't have to do... I never had to do like any backtracking or getting lost. It felt like I was on a singular path the entire time in the entire game.
You have to revisit the zones in the critical path multiple times. You circle back to every zone in the critical path.
But I didn't understand what I was saying is there's no physical turning around going backwards. Generally speaking, you can keep moving, not necessarily the same direction, but the game orientates you.
I'm going to say this. The level design is too clean. It it heavily caters on, hey, this is where you should go. This is where you should go. Like it just felt like the entire path was laid out before me, I did not have to think at all about what my next step was.
It is the greatest,
as long as I keep moving forward, I would make it to my next destination.
It is the greatest type of game, wide linear. You're going down the linear path, but there's so many you could choose to go make deviations. Do you know how much time I spent doing Shine Spark puzzles? I have the slowest time of anyone I've seen because I was stuck on Shine Spark puzzles for so long because I went out of my way to go do shit sometimes.
I give you that, and like I only found, I think, 60% of items is like what it said right there at the end.
So I found nothing.
I found I found low, like high 50, low 60. So I spent some time, but like I try to like there's some puzzles where I beat my head against it, and it may be because I'm not a Metroid player. So like you look at the puzzle and you're like, oh, I've done something similar in the past. I have to like learn this all for the first time. So maybe that's why it was slower on that front.
No.
There's specifically a Shine Spark puzzle where you start in another room, run down a long hallway. You have to do like a bomb, get out of there, and then like you have to do this really weird jump off the wall and time it specifically in order.
There's like dozens. There's like at least 10 plus that are that complex. Like it gets pretty nutty.
I've always hated Shine Spark puzzles. Like they're just not for me.
I do agree that this is probably the most linear Metroidvania I've played. However, I think that is a good thing.
Yeah. Getting lost is something I got frustrated getting lost in this game.
Frustratingly lost is a bad thing.
What my point is there's a specific point in the game, and Bradley, this isn't spoiler because all Metroidvanias have the same exact weapons and upgrades in them.
Yeah, honestly.
This has a bunch of new stuff that we're not going to talk about.
There is no... I didn't feel like I needed to explore or had any openness until I got the grapple beam.
Yo.
Like, that's when I felt like, oh, now I can explore. Now I'm not going down this linear path.
I can so disagree. When you get the morph ball, the game opens up so much. When you get the screw attack... There are so many fucking blocks with the screw attack that you can unlock. There's so much. I feel like you just didn't do the due diligence to consider the corner. Now, you may not need it. Like, you do not need all the missile upgrades you get in this game. You are drowning in... They're more for hard mode, because in hard mode you get less missiles. But in the core gameplay, I think everyone's going to finish the game with a shit ton of missiles.
Yeah, so...
Now, health, on the other hand, I didn't find a lot of the health. Joe had the lowest health of anyone I've seen. So, congrats to you.
It's weird. It's like, this is one of the easiest Metroid games.
When you say that...
But it's also one of the best. And it's like, I think... In terms of action, this is the best Metroid game, except for the robots that like stalk you around. I think I think they absolutely missed the mark.
I wanted to get to this point. This game, the difference between a 10 out of 10 to an 8 or 9 is the Emmys, and it's a 10 out of 10 for me because I love the Emmys. Okay. No, I'm saying your opinion of the Emmy, and I've seen this. I've done so much research. Is 100% if you vibe with the Emmys. The Emmys complete the package for the game for me.
I really like the Emmys.
The reason why they don't for me is because this game is called Metroid Dread. Dread is an emotion that like a player experiences. Meanwhile, Metroid Fusion creates this emotion efficiently throughout the entire game. Like, without being like, oh, you need to experience dread, experience the trauma and the suspense. No, it's like and like you're supposed to be experiencing dread through the Emmys, and your interactions with the Emmys are measured in seconds. It's like, beat it to the next door, and that's kind of it. I hid maybe 10 times from the Emmys the entire game. Never had any issue.
I was a hidey little fucker. Bradley, what do you think?
Here's what Uncle Bradley thinks about the Emmys, all right? Sit your asses down. I went into this game thinking I was going to hate them because I was like, number one, we already did this angle in Metroid Fusion. Oh my god, you're hiding from this powerful robot you can't defeat. And then also I was like, man, sometimes I just really fucking hate stealth in video games. I ended up fucking loving these things.
Now, it's worth noting, I don't think we said it, Bradley is the only one who hasn't finished. He's, what we want to say, like...
We're trying to do spoiler-free.
1/3 of the way through, I feel like he's at.
Yeah, some shit like that. But man, I fucking love these robots because I don't really stealth around them. I like to dodge and maneuver around them, and when I do that, I feel like when I narrowly escape by sliding through some fucking tunnel, I don't know, I feel like a badass.
I feel like
it's fun, yes. Like, it is all fun. I just don't like it because the main way you defeat the Emmys is it's redundant a little bit. So like I tested something. So you know when you get like the
Omega
weapon
cannon
upgrade, the Omega cannon, like I tested all the way through that. You literally just have to walk in that room and stand still and shoot the thing.
Nope.
You will never die.
Nope. That is a fucking lie. There's so many Emmys where if you walk out of straight of the room, there's so many Emmys that will just catch you because there's not enough space. Here's what's brilliant about the Emmys.
No, I mean the Omega cannon part. Getting the Omega cannon, like, you should just walk in that room and give it to you. Like, the encounter with the brain controller thing is irrelevant.
Oh, that's just there for like the spice of like it's a weird mother brain experiment thing.
Yeah, mother brain.
Yeah. I'm just like, if I didn't like, here's the thing. It's a cat. It's a box. It's a Schrodinger's cat thing. Because if it didn't exist, I would be like, oh, I wish there was more out of this. But it does exist, and I'm like, this is irrelevant.
Well, here's the thing. You can't have each of these encounters be like super hard because then you just throw off your pacing. Because imagine not getting stuck on trying to kill the Emmy. You're getting stuck on getting the thing to kill the Emmy, and that's just frustrating as fuck.
Yeah, like, that's fine. It just feels irrelevant. Like, that's it. Like,
it doesn't feel irrelevant.
They put threats in there to like harm the player and interrupt your flow a little bit, but it doesn't do anything. Like,
the projectiles won't kill you. Thing. It can just be another enemy you have to fight to get this thing. It's the same thing with another set of creatures that come along later.
I think it ties into the plot a little bit, but it just was a miss for me gameplay wise.
I think gameplay-wise they're so brilliant, and here's why. Emmy zones serve 3 functions, and I love the way it works. The first time you go around them, they're platforming stealth, which is such a weird genre, but they fucking did it. I do hide from the Emmys from time to time, but like Bradley says, I also like step around them like I'm getting chased by fire. It's like, ooh, God, don't touch me.
The last one you fight is such a tough bitch.
Dude, the last 2 Emmys are so fucked up. The blue Emmy, I think the last one you fight is purple, if I'm not mistaken. That one's also fucked up. I think it's yellow, who is like extremely fast. That one's horrifying. And also like how they like. So the first Emmy you run into is broken. The second one can crawl. The next one can go through chutes, which opens up into morph ball. So, anyways, let's go back.
You're spoiling, man.
No, Bradley just got the morph ball. He was already beat.
Okay, my bad. I didn't know what Bradley was.
We'll stop there. But the point about the Emmys is the first time you're going through their platform stealth. The second time, once you get the Omega cannon, you turn the same environment that you use for platform stealth into a puzzle environment. And there's a mid-game Emmy that uses that so well. You guys might know it's one of the middle ones where there's like only one place in the room where you can do it, and you have to kind of think outside the box to find it. And the last one's very different in that sense. So you turn the same environment and you used it twice, and once you defeat the Emmy, that environment now populates with enemies and you can explore it. So it's like such a good use of the same environment. And
now the chutes open up too.
Yeah, and every time you go into an Emmy room, they're the perfect length where it's like you're only in there for a couple of rooms, but you need to fucking move your ass or they will kill you. Like, I think everyone who plays this game will die to the Emmys 20 times. Like, it's just... And the checkpoint's right outside the room. It's perfect.
The Emmy death is a quick animation, but that's when I was bitching about it first. I was like, what the hell? Metroid's known for having cool death animations. Why is this death animation so fucking weak?
Did you end up liking the real one? Because I think...
Yeah, I do. But, like, the Emmy death animation's quick for you at, like, the UX quick experience, but it's like I just like wish that
it's quick because cool. That's the thing you die the most on.
It is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I just wish it was cooler.
It is the first death every player will see. It's probably an Emmy death, so I can see where that's coming from.
So I mean, it's not bad. I think the game's really good. It's just the least Metroidvania game that's been in existence, and it's not
In
bad.
existence? No. Okay, that is the weirdest claim. Maybe out of the
I'm talking like
Metroidvania than this.
true Metroidvania games, like
Metroid
out of the
and
Metroid series, out of the
Metroid
core
and
Metroid series,
Castlevania?
out of the core Metroid series, it is the least Metroidvania.
Okay, that's a different. You also say this is the easiest, but then you went on to talk about the fucking map design. You can't tell me that this is the easiest combat in the series. I watched a dude play Super.
Oh no!
I watched a dude play Super for the first time, and he just beat Mother Brain by unloading missiles on her and damage boosting. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
this can't be the hardest combat-wise. Sure, Bradley, back me up here because you know best. You and Tyler.
There's definitely easier. Well, I think Super is easier. I think most Metroid games are much harder than this.
Okay.
Like Fusion, I was fucking cussing out my TV the last time I played it in
It's
college.
on the easier spectrum.
Fair. But to say that,
And-
I just couldn't believe this was the easiest just based on stuff I've seen.
But Super Metroid does have a lot of bosses where you can just crouch right in front of them and shoot 45 missiles into their crotch and they die.
Riveting.
And that's what makes this game great is they designed bosses. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That's the line right there is they actually put effort into bosses.
That final boss was stellar, in my opinion.
Also, it pisses me off that this is y'all's first Metroid game because there's an actual story and it all ties together.
Look, it didn't stop me from loving the story at the end of this game. That was the hype.
That's fine. But at another Bradley, cover your ears for a second. If you knew the lore of the other games, the main
Antagonist.
plot
Or-
is revealed in the first 10 minutes of this game. Like the entire story is revealed in the first 10 minutes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, if okay, Bradley, come back.
You gotta tell him to come back. He's double muted.
He's muted.
Well, he could see me.
You can't guarantee that.
I was hoping.
You might be looking at Genshin.
All right, Joe, you're on it. So we said they design bosses. I would go one step further. I would say they massacre these bosses. Just name a platformer that has better bosses, and I don't think you can, or even combat. Maybe like I pitched the Mega Man games might have slightly better combat because you have like cooler tools, but like the thing that's so amazing about the combat in this game is aside from the invisibility cloak, you use every ability in a boss. And,
Yeah, really good.
and those bosses are. I can't think of a platformer that has better bosses. You guys help me out.
Even the
but-
very first boss, I was sitting here like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Right under his fucking
I think-
ribcage.
I think I haven't played Castlevania in a long time, but I've liked
The
Castlevania bosses that I have played.
I've played Castlevania bosses. They are not this cool.
I mean, I played. Did you play the DS Castlevanias?
No. But I
Okay,
know what
yeah.
a Castlevania boss is, even to like the crown jewel, which is Symphony of the Night. You have to learn how to dodge some patterns, but they're not like using your tool set. Just the aiming lets you do so much. First of all, that is such a good feature. But like,
Yeah.
there's that boss. So the last boss is of course the greatest, like the best boss in the game. But I think the major boss when that Joe got to, how do I say this? When you have to do stuff with heat, there's a boss you have to go fight.
Yeah.
That boss was so good to me. That's when I made that comment where it's like this game might have the best bosses of any platform. And that was before I even got to the last one. Yeah, just the way that one move he does where you have to like play the game completely different is super cool. And all the parries are so badass.
I didn't get his parry. It makes me mad. I saw it come up and I just completely whiffed it.
Oh, you didn't get this. Oh, he does it so often. Come on, Joe.
No, I never. It came up once when I did it. I just fucking missiled him to death. But
Damn, it's a really
Look.
good one.
Here's what I like about the game. Number one, the shift control's so good.
Oh.
Samus always moves exactly how I saw her move in my mind when I pushed the button. Like, it's so responsive. It's so nice to control. And what this game really is doing it for me right now. And I feel this way in every single Metroid game, even though they all have like 95% the exact same items. Over the course of your game, you just feel Samus turn into this unstoppable badass juggernaut thing. And as you collect these power-ups, like every time I collect a power-up, no matter how many games I collect the tri-beam in, once I get it, I just want to flex my muscles, and I'm just like, oh, look at my beam. And, man, I just love getting
my beam.
power-ups in Metroid.
Yeah. I have a lot of complaints about it, but at the end of the day, I will say this is a great game. It's probably one of the best Metroid games.
What's your rating, Tyler? What's your insane person rating?
I will say it's on par with the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Wii.
I want a number because I don't know what that means to me.
I don't know what that means.
It's a 10. Like, you should play it. It's a crime. Everybody does it.
What's happening? Anyway,
I try to be reasonable.
What are you talking about? He spends 10 minutes loving anime? Trash tier.
that is,
Like, I'm honest.
yeah,
You
no,
are
fair.
honest.
You're just your mind is. This is why I love talking to you. It's so different. Something else.
I don't try to let my own biases sway on how good something is or how fair
I
everybody
had
should
zero
play.
biases, and I'm like, this is a game of the year contender.
I thought for me, like Metroidvania is always a game because I tried playing. What's the one game that like it's like the Castlevania like spiritual successor that people
Bloodstained, which is I love Bloodstained's super fucking fun.
I keep trying to play Bloodstained, but something about it is just not doing it for
I've
me.
hated every Metroidvania game made by an indie developer.
You should try Bloodstained. You don't like Hollow Knight? Yeah, I think we've had this.
No, I don't like Hollow Knight. I don't like.
Hollow Knight has that map that you love that I can't fucking stand. I hate every moment where I'm lost in Hollow Knight, which is every
Hollow
fucking
Knight's
moment.
Hey, Momodora, it's a good
Momodora's great.
Metroidvania made by an
The
indie studio.
problem with Hollow Knight is like. If you want to talk about like design practices of Metroidvanias, it's like a tree or a river, okay? So like whenever you have the branches come out, like at the very beginning you should have one branch, and then you should get like an upgrade, and then maybe another branch, and then like another upgrade and two branches. So it goes on for a while. It's a slow stream of branches, and then like once I got the grapple beam, it's like 5 branches came out, and like that's kind of the max you should get at. Whenever I play Hollow Knight, it's like 10 branches at the start.
At least,
And that's
at
not-
least you have a limit. I think I like this game so much because it only did a little bit of the bullshit I hate with Metroidvanias. Because like I like to get through my games because I like to play a lot of games every year, so I don't have time for like BS. So that's like where I'm coming from.
For me, so here's the thing. I tried playing Bloodstained, and I think the one thing about Bloodstained that wasn't clicking for me was the movement. I really don't like the motion and movement in that game.
Oh, your movement gets so fucking good in that game.
But like Metroid immediately, like moving across the screen, Samus cuts through the fucking screen like butter.
If you slightly tap, if you put any amount of velocity in a direction, she will start sprinting. Like, she will do, like, a couple frames of a lead-up jog and then just fucking book it. It's so responsive.
Bradley, how did you feel about Samus's starting suit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Now,
was alright.
he's not referring to the
I
normal
agree.
suit in the game. Yeah, because I didn't even notice till I watched the cutscene the second time that she starts in a different suit.
Yeah, I was like, this suit's kind of weak.
He definitely has better suits.
Yeah.
I like the ending suit.
Yeah, I like the upgrade suits. The upgrade suits look nice. Oh, also another complaint. This game does not optimize for good performance on screens. Like off the handheld Switch, it does not run the best.
I played exclusively on
Same.
on TV.
Same.
It had some moments where it didn't look too good.
On TV, it had a couple of zones that are a little frame pacey problematic.
Yeah.
This game is also gorgeous, by the way.
I think it's a looker. I think that I love the art style and the environments. Like, if you really stop and like admire the environments, I think they're doing so much in the background that I love. There's also little cutscenes that happen in the background that you can miss that I think are really cute.
Great foreshadowing
Game,
in the thing too with those backgrounds.
Yeah.
I was gonna give this game a 9 out of 10. Pretty much everything's perfect. And the environments in this game aren't bad or indistinct by any way. But I feel like they at times are less visually distinct than
Oh,
the areas in some other Metroid games.
Yeah.
See that?
Because like in most other Metroid games, I can just glance at the background, and even just by the general color scheme, I'm like, oh, I'm in Brinstar. Oh, I'm in Torian. You know.
I think this game definitely
this
has.
is minus NES and SNE. Like this is minus the first and second Metroid.
I'm sure Fusion, Fusion I've seen like has very colorful backgrounds. I will say every background in this game is super distinctive, but you're right, the colors are more muted, so you wouldn't be able to like get that instant.
Yeah.
A couple of things I want to bring up. The animations are great. Give the animation team a raise. When Samus can't morph ball, but she walks into a hole, she puts up her hand and like leans on it for no reason. Why the fuck did they do that? Another thing, just whenever she's climbing, it just looks so smooth. I will say some of the cutscene animations are a little budget, but the like parry cutscene animations are fantastic.
Parry animation.
Also, they did a great use of like characterizing Samus.
That's
in this game.
next. Samus is so well characterized in this game.
There's
through little things.
There's a moment when she goes and fights Kraid, and you just see her staring, and she's just charging up the beam because she's like, I already fucking know.
When you kill the first boss, and she's doing the strut walk behind him in the.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I took so many screenshots in this game. I'm so excited to start posting them.
Yeah,
like they are beautiful.
I took a bunch of videos as I was playing.
I remember my biggest complaint with the game. I remember it is, and this brings it down to a 9 for me. It is a solid 9 because of a specific thing in the game I can't name. Well, I'll say it. It's Adam.
Yeah, no, the storytelling in this game is not.
Adam is
good.
thrown to the side in this game as a complete bitch of a character. Yes, because if you remember in Metroid Fusion,
It's such a big deal.
yeah, Adam is such a big deal. So I'm not mad that Adam talks in this game. That's not the point. Which is a side note because this kind of ties into Adam. This Metroid has really weak music. Like the sound design in this Metroid is kind of bad, bad.
I actually really like the ambient music. It felt very Metal Gear for me. You don't really know Metal Gear music,
You know
but
what?
like there's some areas that are big Metal Gear.
On this one, I'm going to be on Team Tyler. I really like all the sound effects, like hitting and shooting, and especially the morph ball clinking against metal. But the area, like soundtracks, probably on the weaker side for me.
Yeah, this is I think one of the first Metroid games I've ever played where I like didn't like any of the music in it.
Usually, if I'm in Brinstar, I'm fucking jamming.
Yeah, like they've used that same remix of a song for the last 20 years, and then they didn't do it.
They went for a route that was ambient music, and I thought it worked well with the theme of Dread.
Also, whenever you pick up an energy tank, it does this weird Sonic the Hedgehog soundbite, and it's from like a really quirky game. It's really noticeable, and it's like, what the fuck was that noise? That did not belong in this game at all. Like,
I don't remember.
It sounds like something that just got left over, and they just were like, oops.
What's up with the statue?
It's like,
the Chozo statues. Get with it. Even I know this.
oh, the Chozo statues?
I always think it's funny. Like, there's just this gameplay element that's everywhere, but
Back to characterizing Samus. There's a couple of other cool things they do. That
I
make
didn't get to finish about my Adam rant.
but I didn't get to finish my Samus rant, so hold on.
Okay.
We'll circle back to you. There's the big cutscene in the middle of the game, like the obvious one I'm talking about, like that's in the middle. Samus does something in that cutscene that is so cool.
That was lit as fuck.
That was but then also the climax of the game, Samus does the coolest thing I could imagine her doing. Wow, I'm a Samus fan now. But there's also
makes you want to play For Glory with Samus and Smash Bros.
It does make you I do like Samus is really fun to play with Smash Bros. Now I actually have a tie to her in a way. There's other things where like they also humanize her in interesting ways. Where like there's a couple of cutscenes where she's bothered and in fear. Like an example is the first cutscene when she's getting like grabbed by that antagonist, and one that's really easy to forget is whenever you're in the Emmy zones before you've cleared the Emmy, there's the film grain to show that even Samus is scared of being in an Emmy zone because she's like, I've seen a lot of shit, but I know I can't kill these robots yet, so I gotta book it out of here. I thought that was a really interesting decision, and in some of the later cutscenes, there's very subtle, like, breathing animations and movements to show that she's distressed and afraid. And I was like, cool, I don't want her to just be badass. I needed just this little hint that she's uncomfortable by the situation to kind of like finalize how I feel about like her character.
I also really like that other than you dying, you don't see her outside of her suit unless I'm forgetting like something at the beginning of the game.
I think
no, the only time you're out of the suit is in Metroid Zero mission. And maybe Samus Returns.
It's just like it's an easy kind of cop out. You can like make your hot characters show up and whatever. And
I think you can take off. I think you can take off her helmet if you clear the game fast enough. So there's
that's always been a thing. No, you can get her like fully out of her suit.
I don't know if that's
like
in
they
this one.
can spin her ass cheeks on the camera.
Yeah, you can get her like in the Smash outfit where it's just got her in like the sports bra and the under Spanx or whatever. That's like been the highest tier clear outfit.
Yeah, and
like,
the staple is her scissoring with like the advanced mother brain that actually has legs and arms.
Yeah.
Gross.
But Adam, so like we were talking about Adam and the music, okay? So like in Metroid Fusion, Adam is in the game, and this also kind of ties into the tunneling thing. So every time you go to a new area in Metroid Fusion, just like in this game, Adam talks to you and he gives you a debriefing.
Doesn't he literally tell you who you're gonna fight and what item you're gonna get in Fusion? I heard Fusion was like the most linear shit ever, and that was your favorite Metroid game.
No,
hold on.
So in Metroid Fusion, you talk to Adam.
Okay, explain.
And at the beginning of the game, he does kind of tell you like, hey, we're here looking for this. This is the upgrade we should find in this area. And he's like, here's the point on the no map that exists. And it's like, get to this area. So like in Metroidvania fashion, like you have all these winding areas, but it's like, you may be heading right, but that doesn't take you down right.
Bro, if it
like,
gives you a waypoint, that's big though, because you know it like at
it's
least...
it's a waypoint on a blank map.
Still, I would have taken that in this game. Like that.
And you know what? I do love Fusion, and I'm not like knocking this as points against Fusion, but I might shift my label of Dread being the most linear Metroid over to Fusion.
Everything I've heard over the years was that Fusion was super, like, not super, it's like another wide linear like this game. And I'm like, that sounds great. Also, it made the top 5 in our Nintendo list, so you like a linear Metroid, fucker.
After the first 3 or 4 areas that you go through really quick, like, once you start to backtrack, Adam is no longer helpful. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. And you start, like, getting through these side areas that you're not supposed to go through. There's narrative context for all of them. Like, the event that happened with the heat thing towards the end, that happens, like, 5 other times in Metroid Fusion. And it adds a lot of contextual, like, narrative to the game.
It's like, that part's the most linear part of the game, actually, so...
Yeah.
Like, it's very hard to get lost there unless you miss a block, which sometimes...
Yeah, it is easy at that point, but it's like, I don't know. Whenever Adam's talking to you in these moments also, and it like enhances the dread aspect, is the music that plays. Like, if Bradley, if you remember talking to Adam, it's just like Animal Cross. It's not even Animal Cross. It's just side-scrolling text from like a Game Boy game.
Yeah.
And there's intense music playing over it, or there's light music, or there's like dreadful music. Like, the theme that the story wants you to feel is heavily tied into the audio you're hearing at the time.
That's the thing. I don't really feel dread in Metroid Dread. Metroid Fusion set out to be like a Metroid horror game, and I think they did it excellently.
I felt pretty spooked. The Emmy zones are like, you're playing the game like this, and every time you're in an Emmy zone, you're like, okay, I gotta get the fuck out of here. At least that's how I played it.
It's been how many years since Metroid Fusion came out? 16?
Yeah.
No, it's been 19 years.
Maybe I don't want to be part of this fan base. That sucks.
So it's been 19 years, and the thing is if you've played Metroid Fusion, I don't think you're gonna like the Emmys too. I don't think you're gonna like them more than the thing in Metroid Fusion.
I saw a poll where it was pretty close to 50-50.
I
it was
think
on
if
GameFAQs or something.
you're new to Metroids or you're on the younger side to not really understand, like, or you haven't done, like, you're not a big Metroid fan, like, these are literally hollow robots that have no emotion or any real, like, personality.
But you could slow them down with the ice equipment, right? In Fusion, and
No.
with okay, so I've heard.
Like, you get that, like, in the last 5 hours of the
so
game.
it's still late. All right.
Yeah.
Well, the 5 hours of a 12-hour game, but I digress.
Something like that. But it's, I feel like Adam really provides a lot better story pacing in Fusion than opposed to this game.
But you also,
Adam feels like a tutorial, a second tutorial explanation for the upgrades you get in this game.
I think he's really bad early on. He's more tutorial early on, but near the end of the game, he's more speculative and actually giving but in the beginning, I thought Adam was like easily the worst part of the game. I will say it's weird for you to say that he's thrown away when he's the character with by far the most dialogue in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, okay, you're saying that in a Metroid game where nobody ever really talks except Adam. Adam is the only thing that talks in Metroid games.
Still like, hard to say the character that talks the most is the one who gets thrown aside. Like, I wouldn't say that.
I just think compared to Fusion, like, you're talking about, like, the end of this game that he gets, like, speculative and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is really good. That's why I like this game still. But in Metroid Fusion, he's kind of doing that the whole time. He still has some tutorial aspects to him. But still, like, he is speculative the entire game and providing good narrative context.
The worst is getting the Phantom Cloak and you have like 3 to 4 tutorials or the Phantom Cloak's like, I get it. I could use it to escape the Emmy. Thank you.
Yeah, it's also weird. I don't know why every Metroid game doesn't explain Shine Spark. Like, I think that's the running joke. Is it's like you're not allowed to explain Shine Spark.
They do.
They do not explain all the mechanics of Shine Spark.
Right. They did not explain all of them.
No Metroid game has ever explained all the mechanics of Shine Spark.
I don't think I got a single one.
Yes, you have to.
Joe, did you know you can Shine Spark and Morph Ball?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Exactly. It's. I don't know why. Like, they had really clear UX.
Most really could have,
and then just
anything to explain it.
Yeah.
They explained it in this one, but not that morph ball thing, which is mandatory for some puzzles. But I digress.
I don't know what it is.
Joe, it's literally called it in the game. I don't know. You just didn't read it.
But what do you do? Like, what does it actually do?
It's the speed boost thing.
Huh?
It's the speed boost thing.
No, it's specifically when you're doing the speed boost and then squat down.
It's that.
And then but you have to do that, so you did it. Okay. That's Metroid Dread. Bradley will finish it. We will quick talk it next week, but this game will come back at the end of the year.
Yeah, it will.
Strong contender.
You better be fucking ready.
Shockingly for me, but yeah.
I did not expect this outcome.
Fantastic game. I have a lot of complaints, but it's fantastic.
Game of the year.
I begrudgingly enjoyed it as an old person now.
Fuck.
This game of the year is going to be super weird because there is no standout for me like 13 Sentinels.
You mean a little bit of a thing called Returnal?
It's funny because we got 2 Metroid games this year and they're both contenders for game of the year.
Returnal's roguelite.
Yeah, but it is like everyone says it's very Metroid aesthetically inspired.
Very H.I. Geiger inspired.
I think Returnal has much better environments than Metroid Dread. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, of course, it's fucking Returnal. Come on, man, that's unfair.
Oh, that reaction right there, just kind of, you know.
Oh, Returnal has like some of the best environments this year. That is very unfair.
Man, all I know is it's really cool because Metroid, kind of like Star Wars, even though they're both sci-fi, they just feel like they have a different, more identifiable sci-fi world to them. I don't know. They don't feel as generic to me.
Yeah, in this one, Samus has to solve literally all the galaxy's problems, which is different from Star Wars.
So I'm very excited to see what happens at a Metroid Prime 4 because 2 very successful Metroid games done by the same director have come out in that time. and Metroid Prime 4 is under a different director. Now, we haven't heard anything about Metroid Prime 4 in forever, so I'm wondering if at some point they might cancel the project, give it over to the other guy.
I heard that they weren't happy of the at the state that the game was in a little while ago, so that's why they haven't shown anything, which is a little alarming.
It's probably.
I just I'm ready for another Metroid.
I don't really have interest in Prime. I need Metroid 6.
I've tried playing Prime 3, and I was just like,
that's the one Metroid I tried.
Jokes on y'all! This is the last Metroid side scroller.
This is first of all
the best-selling Metroid game they've ever done.
This is definitely gonna be the best-selling Metroid, right? It's gotta be.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna make it
like. This was literally supposed to be the end of Samus's storyline in like the official Metroid plot.
Then they're either gonna.
I never thought there would be a game after Fusion.
Yeah.
See, and you don't think you don't. I think the plot is set to where we can definitely take this story places.
Yeah, but okay, here's the thing. They never said anything after Metroid Fusion. Nintendo just dropped the IP and just didn't give a shit about Metroid. Hey, they literally said this is the end of Samus's journey.
When we're 50, we're going to be talking about Metroid Spread together, okay?
Metroid Spread?
Look, I talk about Metroid Spread with you. That's a different topic, though.
That's a VR title.
No, this is bad. Okay, I have a question of the day, and no one has something better.
Oh,
you don't know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we do.
Say it, Tyler. What's the question of the day?
You're gonna. I'm not gonna pretend. I'll just let you.